Did it rain last night? Nope. Just September dew. Well, I'm a little rested and recharged. Going to hook onto the mower and knock down the other 2 fields up there. Yeah, I've made a pledge not to touch a hay bale today. I could go and I could sort through some more of those from yesterday, and no, my relaxing day is going to be mowing and then hopping back and forth between tending. I have 4 fields down right here, 2 medium ones, 2 small ones. How many acres will that be? 7, 8, something like that? I can't do math right now. That's okay. That's okay. It's Friday, and we're supposed to have 4 more amazing days like this at least. So, game on. See where the roll pin of my fertilizer spreader broke? Oh well. And then right here is where I fixed it. Still didn't quite throw it far enough. Well, it's been 3 hours since I did the last tedding cycle of all 4 fields. And we've got some really good crisp on the top of this. Underneath it, still some damper, not quite cured green. But this makes me wonder if this field's going to be ready tomorrow. It might be. I'm not going to rush it, but this grass is definitely finer than what was way up on Cricket Hill there. And a lot better sun. It's funny, the shade line here is also where the grass doesn't grow. It must be related. So, for the most part, this field gets amazing sun, except for way over there. Love it when the hay starts to get this dry tedding. Still got a ways to go. But once it starts windrowing itself, that's a good sign that it's pretty fluffy. Yeah, I don't know. I think getting this knocked down 2 nights ago gave it a bit of a boost. So, see how tomorrow looks. The field we mowed this morning is a big barn that is almost an older twin to the one up on Cricket Hill. Definitely in more disrepair, but the new owners here are trying to slowly but steadily put some time into it. So we don't have things reinforced enough to feel comfortable pulling a vehicle in here, but they are doing some work. And we did fully reinforce the floor under this whole bay here, and I just cleaned it out. So my hope is that if I get a wagon right up to the door, it might even mean pushing it up to the door with a tractor. Yeah, it's a little tiny bit of a place to carry, but then a whole bay there to put. So I can cut this here and then see how it evolves from there. So I guess including Mary and Chris's barn where I've been parking wagons, it's up to 5 barns now, all in different spots. Well, I broke one of my September haying rules and now I'm paying the price for it, which is don't unload hay the day you bale it, especially if you feel iffy about it. So of the stuff we unloaded and stacked, I first checked what was on the wagon and only a few of those bales were down to 16-17%. Of the stuff that I was calling good, I started checking bales and felt dampness and had a lot that were good and other ones that were at 17, 18, 19, 20%. So now we've got some stacks of feeder bales down here, building out a stack of stuff that's 17, 18%, maybe a couple 19 if they feel okay, just to see how those cure out. These are all still good. I just have to restack them. But anyway, so here I am. I got a wagon unloaded that day, but then handling bales multiple times, which is just ridiculous. And yeah, I do not have a preservative setup. I am going to look into that this winter. But again, I think I've said before, I've been kind of casually polling my customers, and most that I've talked to don't want preservative in their hay, including one of the people that takes feeders off my hands all the time. So that means with preservative, even this, stuff that's outside the moisture pocket of preservative, he wouldn't want it. So I got to do some thinking about that. But anyway, I'm just going to say again, preservative is not in the equation this year. Well, let's see here. Dropped a second wagon off. So this stuff's definitely dry enough to rake. Oh gosh. This might even be baleable. All right, well, I'm gonna hop to it and rake the tiny field across, rake this one. I was gonna TED those other 2 fields today, but if I can get this one baled, I think that'd be more worth my time rather than trying to get everything in. And I'm not even planning on baling those other fields tomorrow anyway. That was gonna be a Monday project. There's a lot of second cut here for this little field. It looks just about there. There's enough little awkward shade lines here that I think I'm going to leave this one for tomorrow, as much as it maybe could be ready today. I'm just having too much whiplash with iffy bales right now. It's a very different grass type though. Super soft, finer grasses. I think it cured down fine. Oh, we'll see. Maybe I'll have enough daylight to get to it. Okay, these rows are pretty nuts. Smells and looks great, so we'll see. It's gonna get to baking this hour for baking the sun for at least an hour. But I still gotta go get the baler, even if I skip tedding the other fields. So, yeah, maybe. Well then, this bottom half is at least good to go. Well, I don't question anything in that. I'm gonna see how some of these the upper half is heavier. And that's also on wet years where the wetter ground is. So there's a correlation there. The question is, any of this stuff borderline where the windrows are heavier? Gosh, it does not feel it to me. It smells great. I mean, I'm comparing it to what I baled 2 days ago when I could smell that little bit of offness, and sure enough, that's where some iffy bales came from, but this stuff just feels perfect. Okay, so I think game plan is to skip tedding those other 2 fields again. They'll be in the sun a long time, nice breeze. Because I don't even know if I'll bale them tomorrow, I'll focus on this. It's 2:30 right now. I got, I think, a diesel for the 275 and then run up and get the baler. So realistically, I won't get baling this till maybe 3:30. I like how this field looks when it's all raked from up here. Satisfying. And would you just look how this field's drying too. This is crazy. All right, well, just gonna let this cook. I'll exit the field by tedding around the outside and then park the tedder. Also, I don't know if I've said, it's hot today. It's like pushing 80. Definitely sweating. So I think that's helping the stuff cure better than the low 70s from the past few days. All right, let's see about giving this a whirl. The very first stuff I'm gonna bale is the shade line stuff, because the bale and a half in the baler, with some of that more questionable late stuff anyway. So I can stop and stack those bales in the front and know they're iffy and get those out of the way. We'll see what happens. That's a slope. Boy, most of that shade line was 12-13. So So that's great. I'm feeling pretty good about this. It's so funny how, you know, I got to trust my gut. My gut on the other, honestly, 2 fields were that they weren't quite there. And I don't know whether they would have gotten there. And my gut on this one is, though, even though this is day 3, this stuff's perfect. So game on. Well, through a single broken bale, I saw one string hanging from the wagon, wanted to go get the other one. But also, I did the dumb thing of, I shut the pickoff. I started to get a little too tippy over there. That's what the second wagon's for. So I swung around into the stuff that was too wet that I didn't rake, and I shut the baler off, but the momentum of the flywheel kept it going just long enough to scoop up some of this green. And that's really annoying, because it's otherwise beautiful stuff in there. I'm gonna pick that out by hand. I really don't want half a bale of green. Okay, 103 so far. See if there's another 35 or 40 here, maybe. These feel pretty freaking perfect. Oh, they smell great. They're nice and dry. Moisture meter was right in the like 10 to 12% consistently. And you know, it's telling to me when you don't see blips higher than that. That means it's, you know, it's really just oscillating between 12, 13. It's super uniform. Cool. Something about that angle with those new tires on that Rake. Satisfying. Anyway, having a markedly different experience today. This is fun again. All right, let's do it. And 41 more here. Ooh, these are nice. Okay. So it's 4 o'clock. The sun's still up there and it is hot. And those 2 fields have been sitting for the last 5 hours. I'm just gonna run up with the 165. Fluff them with the tedder again. Both of those fields get pretty late sun, so that'll cure a little more, and it'll expose some new area for first thing in the morning while I'm messing around with unloading wagons. Yeah, I don't know, if I can get that baled tomorrow, I'll go for it. I mean, we're back in 3-day hay territory potentially with this finer grass. But also I mowed those yesterday morning. They didn't get that overnight kind of bonus that this field got. So yeah, right or wrong, I'm gonna fluff it. Yep, I am seeing the color difference. There's some more green to expose that who knows if I'll get this tomorrow. But one of my September rules is when in doubt, work it again. I feel like I would normally be raking it right now, but I'm giving this whole Ted, then rake, then bale on the baling day thing a whirl for the September stuff. Especially because this tedder just does such a nice job. I don't know if it translates on camera, but I keep saying the hay coming out the back lands and just does a nice little 180 roll and lands with the bottom facing the air. It's funny how just changing your equipment lineup suddenly changes your strategy sometimes. This tedder is so smooth on this tractor. Here's my cockamamie plan. Can't pull a tractor in yet due to the structural work. And this is as far as I can get the wagon with the tractor being there. So I got that. And I got an old wagon drawbar. And I'm gonna push it. That is not bad. That gained me like 12, 16 feet almost. Just going right there. Cool. Well, my friend and neighbor who lives right over there was walking by and decided to help me unload these. So I think these are all great, but I am not going to repeat the same mistake. So I'm going to check these with a moisture probe tomorrow. I really think they're good, but you know, that'll be the start of the stack there. Do that in the morning, unload the other one. But man, this stuff came out so nice, I think. Oh, so nice and green. It's funny, it's even greener in the bale than it looked on the field, but in a good way. So anyway, that's that. I'm gonna get this back down and out of here and call it a day. Another happy customer. Enjoying my handiwork. Wow, what a beauty. That is a healthy fox. Okay, it's still arguably a little bit clunky, but it does work. It does work. Stuff overnighted pretty well, I think. All right, just double check these. They're all in the 10 to 14% range, most like 10 to 12, so great. Just following my September rule rather than drive myself crazy later. That's pretty nice, 140 bales right here. These ones are all good too. They were just around 15 or 16%, which they're fine. I just didn't bury them, but just talked to the folks that own this place. The supports we put downstairs look great. They're not overly tight, but you know, it's just shoring this up a little bit. And so I'm going to expand the stack to about here. I think we can get close to 250 or so in this area. So that's something. It's a lot closer to where I live and where I can meet people and closer to the fields. So it's not too bad as a start. Eventually, we've got hopes of rehabbing a lot of this. I mean, the bones of this barn are great. It's just a matter of fixing a couple things here and there, maybe getting that loft up in order, getting the door so it can close, little things. It feels really funny to be tedding even gently on the same day that I plan to bale, which happens sometimes, but for September, I think I'm liking this. At a low RPM, this tedder just does such a nice job. It's almost like an initial pseudo raking. And with how the air and the sun is, I bet I would have been fine if I'd raked it last night, flopped it over once and baled today. But I'm feeling so tired of the stress, the September stress of, is this hay dry enough? So, what the heck? Come back and rake this up in about an hour and a half, and then bale it. significant windrows for second cut in September. Whew. This field's exactly an acre. So we'll see if there's 50 an acre here. My guess is closer to 40 or 45, but that's pretty good. This time of year, I'm used to yields kind of dropping down to the 30s or lower, just because of regrowth time. And a heck of a grass growing year. Okay, it's not even 2:30 yet. It's 2:20. This stuff just oh my gosh, it's so soft, so green. This is great. Just gotta go walk kitty corner and go get the tractor and baler from yesterday's field. Pop over there, bale that small piece. Get this one on, I think, about a wagon and a half. And hopefully that'll leave half a wagon or so to consolidate and just bring a half wagon up there and bale that field. I think it'll come together pretty quick, so long as I don't have issues. But man, oh man. Oh. Okay, this is a nice pick-me-up after midweek. Could not ask for nicer hay drying weather right now. The humidity's come up just a little bit, but it's warm. I think it's close to 80 with a really nice breeze and just full sun. Okay. All right, 30 here, it's something. The outside windrows are a little heavier. And yeah, I don't know. These bales actually ended up a lot tighter than the last field. So we'll see how they come out. But that's something, and it's in. I'm gonna drop this wagon and go focus on the other stuff over there. Such a long way around. I was just baling the other side of those trees, the other side of that far fence. I used to do this field between the two, but it's really wet. The grass is not great. And respectfully, the owner wants to keep this fence intact. I'd asked about taking down some sections to conjoin stuff, so it ended up not making the cut. Although boy, if we could just take one of these posts out and create a barway between the two, I'd gladly do it too. It's right here. But anyway, as it is, I take the long way around on the road. Okay, just gonna fuel up, and this should be ready to go. Oh, 2 packed on here. Oh, I'm happy with what I'm seeing. Cool. I don't know, maybe another 30 or so left to put on the other wagon, and then I'll just whisk that one up with the baler and go bale that field. All right, that makes 140 off this field for just under 2.5 acres, I think. So, is that over 15 acre? I think so, just over. But, all right, I'm just gonna pop this up the road, bale the other field. A little bit of a traffic risk. This is right there. Well, I don't know if it's the time of day, the humidity, or this field, but I've gone around 1.5 times. The outside windrow was blips up to 17, 18. And then the second time around, it's still, yeah, these bales are a lot more dense, and you can kind of smell the little bit of dampness. So as much as I would just love to get this baled today, tomorrow is supposed to be great. I'm gonna stop. and bale this tomorrow. Might only be 30 bales here, but I'm not going to shoot myself in the foot again of having a wagon's worth to sort through. As it is, there's going to be some iffy ones in here. So, okay, stopping here. Well, it's okay. Tomorrow is really supposed to be just like this, super sunny. Kind of had it in my head it'd be a relief to get all this baled, declare second cut done today. But you know, it's fine. There might be 30 more bales here of nice stuff, and that's a lot better than 30 bales that I've got to sort through and try to get rid of as feeders or have iffy. It's just not worth it. Not when tomorrow's supposed to be good weather. So I'm gonna leave the tractor and baler there. I will haul this wagon way up that way to the Lee barn. The other full one will get parked in Mary's barn. And then I'm just gonna throw a tarp over those 30 bales from that first field and unload that in the morning. It'll all be fine. I forgot my water and also wanted to grab the moisture meter before I meet some off wagon folks and then come back and get that. The other factor too though is that this field does not get as much sun as the bigger one. So to, you know, expect 3-day hay in September with kind of a late shade line there, and you can see the shade here at 4:30. Now it's closer to 5. So stands to reason it was not ready at the same time. And it's easy to have all these small fields in proximity and try to treat them like they're all the same field, but they're not. Just consolidating everything over in one field. This is sort of a brainchild I've had for a while. I haven't really done, but I think this is the year. Wagon of mulch or feeder bales. After tomorrow, I'll throw a tarp over it, keep rain off, and just see who I can find for mulch or feeder bales. You know, I really don't need all 4 wagons. Well, I mean, heck, I'm almost done with second cut here, with just a little bit of third to do. So tying up this wagon, especially because it's not the best for going down the road. It likes to wiggle, and having the side doors actually means I can have 2 separate piles and easy access everything. So that's what I'm doing, right or wrong. Well, it's Monday morning. I got up here around 9 o'clock to hopefully close this chapter of the somewhat iffy hay from this batch of fields up here from midweek last week. So yeah, I had a heck of a lot of this stuff spike up in storage, and a lot of it's beautiful. So I had to deconstruct this stack because again, I'm crazy, but I'm looking, I mean, I've checked numbers again. I might be carrying close to 1,000 bales of extra second cut beyond orders. So I want to make darn sure that what I'm sending home with folks is perfect. So this whole stack is perfect. This stuff's great. It's maybe the highest moisture in it. I see a 16%, which is not bad at all for a few days after baling. It all smells and looks great. This stack is all stuff that I think is pretty darn good. I just saw some 17, maybe 18% in it. So it's just, with this sitting on this much hay, this is what I will move later than that stuff. And then here's this little isolated cube of that like 5 or 6 week second cut that I made above the cemetery, which is about some of the nicest stuff ever. It's just kind of been stranded over here. And then I've got stuff that I think is good, but I'm seeing 17 to 19, maybe a spot or two of 20% that I think is okay, but this will be absolutely the last stuff that I move. So it'll give me plenty of time to sit on it and see how it does. And then down there along the edge, I've got some feeder bales. No heat, nothing like that, but definitely 20+% that I just need to find takers for. So crazy, eccentric, but a big relief to have at least this sorted in a little more loft space. And then down there, I've got them down the 2 layers of first cut, and I'm going to start stacking second cut on top of that. This is what that last wagon from the bigger field yesterday, and then the first round and a half of the smaller one. So I have to sort these a little bit too, but at least if I come across iffy ones, I got a spot to put them. Ooh, yeah. Still have one more wagon to unload, but just being September thorough. I'm gonna copyright that. Trademark it? Yeah. Couple hours knocking it back in rows. I think this stuff's great. I haven't really felt it yet. Focused on getting all those other wagons unloaded, so it wasn't really a waste of time because I had to be back around here unloading wagons anyway. But I'm just taking my time, trying to enjoy this as one of the last nice batches of hay this year. Maybe even the last nice one, depending on how third cut goes in a couple fields. Just saying words. I'm pretty cooked. Maybe 25, 30 bales here? Maybe 25. That's okay. It's 2:30. I just forced myself to lay in the shade for the last half hour. I think this stuff is absolutely perfect. I don't feel any dampness or anything. I think it's just great. We're gonna throw this together, park the however many bales it is in the barn, tarp the baler, go home, and not touch hay tomorrow. That's the plan right now. See how it goes. Well, 36 more. That makes 55 for this acre. Yeah, to have the last field of second cut be over 50 bales an acre, that's pretty wild. That's not what I normally see. These look great. Yeah, all right, cool. Gonna park this under cover, unhook and tarp the baler, and then call it a day. Call it a hay stretch. This was what, day 9? Yep, this was day 9 in a row. I've been saying to folks, I haven't had a day without hay since August 19th. So how many days is that? 20 something at least. Feels good. Yeah, feels good. Okay, and so just some numbers. That makes 2,550 bales of second cut, 7,550 bales of hay for the year, because I had exactly 5,000 at first, which is really funny. And then if I include that straw I made, it's like 7,850 bales. So including the straw and the bit of third cut, oh boy, I'm gonna come close to hitting 8,000 this year if I'm lucky enough to get those couple fields of third cut. But yeah, 7,550 bales of hay so far. That beats last year's record by 1,000 bales, and last year beat the previous year's record by 1,000 bales. And I didn't do any more acreage this year. I just had right on the nose 100 bales an acre of first and 150 bales an acre of second, just about. That's pretty incredible. Okay, I'm gonna leave this one there. Hopefully third cut soon.